The chairman of the 3 local government areas making up Warri Federal Constituency in Delta State have appealed to young people in the area to maintain existing peace in the wake of a report published by the Independent National Electoral Commission after the recent wards and units delineation exercise. The chairmen include those of 3 of Warri South, Warri Southwest, and Warri North local government areas. A former speaker of the legislative arm of Warri Southwest local government area, that's Emiko Etuwewe, now joins us to discuss the INEC report and why the delineation exercise was so controversial. Good afternoon. Many thanks for joining us here on Newsday.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Now, in your opinion, why would you say that this exercise is generating as much controversy as it has?
Okay. May I give a background?
Sure.
A very concise one. First, we're not supposed to have Warri Federal Constituency delineated at this time because it doesn't match with the 10 years interval as stipulated by the 1999 Constitution, precisely Section 73 subsection 1. However, the delineation was a ruling from the Supreme Court, and then we have to be law-abiding. But it became an issue because there were other court judgments that preceded that judgment that were not implemented. And we were wondering how INEC was going to perpetrate that delineation without obeying those judgments, because one of those judgments includes the revert to 10 ward structure, especially in Warri South, against the 12 ward structures that was unilaterally built by INEC. And you know, you can't build something on nothing or build something on an illegal structure. You know, like Nigeria does not, I don't think we're not in a climate that should tolerate illegality. But unfortunately, it happened. It happened, so it became a very serious concern. Now, after that, on the 4th of April, INEC called stakeholders to announce the draft. It wasn't then called the draft. It was posted to be final result of delineation. It was after the series of protests and the tension that were coming up that they now made a publication to say it was a draft. On that draft, there were a lot of irregularities that marginalize, let me not just say marginal, extreme marginalization on the Shekiri people that exist in these true ownership, the true owners of these 3 local governments that make up the Warri Federal Constituency. That is our grouse, because it's so alarming that the owners of land with the largest population on the draft seem to be the extreme minority in the draft.
So clearly it's going to affect the balance of power amongst the different communities or ethnic groups within Warri Southeast. You were Southwest, excuse me. And you were explaining that it was supposed to be done every 10 years. 10 years. How many years has it been? 8. Okay, so it's 2 years. What, in your opinion, is INEC's ward delineation exercise? What's the primary purpose of it? What is the actual goal that they want? And what is happening now? What is the actual goal that they're getting by doing all of this?
Okay, delineation is actually in our favor.
Okay.
Our favor, because you're about to create new polling units and wards for accessibility to the masses to go, you know, when it's time for poll to go express their rights during elections. But as it were, need I announce to you that people don't exist on the air. You exist on the land. Police stations are on the land. This land belongs to people with nomenclature ties. This land have people, electoral humans, which of course are documented on the voters' register. I have the guideline here with me, which was presented on the 21st of March 2024 when INEC first engaged the stakeholders to say this is what we would use to perpetrate the delineation. This guideline was disregarded. Even God himself, while creating this world, creating the earth, he used guideline. Otherwise, he would have created everything in one day. Now, I'll take just one point for you to see. Features of a polling unit. A polling unit shall have a maximum of 750 registered voters. This is the phrase. A polling unit shall have a maximum of 750 registered voters. Where are those voters? Where are they registered? On the voters register. Their names are on the voter registers. These are many, and several of these guidelines were disregarded. We have right now in Oborodo, one of the largest wards in Warri Southwest, already one of the largest wards in Warri Southwest that contains 60 units each. Trust me, they were not delineated. We still have some with about 1,000 and some over 1,000 voters that were not delineated. But if you go to the Ijo climb, out of the four wards that they have in Warri Southwest, they were all delineated. And even unfortunately, we discovered in the Warri North that they made up some ward with communities dragged from Edo State and Ondo State just to create presence on that draft. This put together is why we're saying we have nowhere else to go, because 1997, after one constituency was even taken from, one federal constituency was taken from Warri to create Burutu federal constituency that now makes the Ijos have two federal constituencies, Patani and Bomadi federal constituency, Burutu federal constituency. We're left with just one, which is Warri federal constituency that belongs to the Shekiri. Just like the Isokos, they have their own constituency. Out of the 10 federal constituencies, every ethnic nationalities have theirs. The only one that we have about to be taken as expressed on the draft. This is why the Shekiri people are saying, I think there's no other word to describe this than to say, just kill us. Instead of extincting us from our land, just kill us. INEC, kill us.
Okay. You've outlined this situation, saying that ideally delineation should be in your favor, and that what's happening right now is marginalization. And based on
fraud in the way it was.
And gerrymandering,
yes.
it sounds like.
Yes.
Now, based on the fact that you have this draft in your hand, what that was given to you, I think you said March 21st of 2024, and it was it looked fine at the time. Guidelines, thank you. But now you're seeing that it's a complete opposite of what was the case. Since you have this proof in your hand, along with all those that are that see reason with you, what's your next course of action, especially because you have proof of what was given to you and dates? What's your next course of action besides sounding the alarm right now?
Okay, like what's the publication INEC released, that it is a draft. It's not the final work, that we should outline our observations and give feedback. You know, we have been doing, I think I'm doing that already too, as it were. You know, we have outlined a lot of irregularities. We have written to the president. We have also dropped petition with tables, you know, a very elaborate one with the NSA on Monday. So we expect that the presidency would create a panel of inquiry to investigate this thing thoroughly and see where the irregularities, the enormous irregularities, and see that the entire draft does not match reality 95%. It doesn't match reality 95%. Need I also announce to you one of the irregularities here? The guideline says do not put polling station on waters. Do not put polling stations in the mosque, church, and in the shrine. We have a lot of polling units in the shrine to constitute what in the Ijo area, or to have the capacity to marginalize us.
And it seems from our discussion, well, not even from our discussion, just the general discussion in the country, the legislative arm of our community is not very well trusted. It seems like the court orders that you were talking about were flouted, and now there's more court orders. So I guess what we're saying is, are you going to be taking this to court? How do you remedy a situation like this, apart from getting the word out and coming on the media and, of course, discussing it with all of us. How do you move forward?
Also, at the moment, we have protested.
We
have protested, and it got so tense that the chairman had to, just like the judge, of course, you know, they are doing some protests to save their faces because we have alleged fraud in the process of this delineation. And we have also written to the president, like I mentioned, also to the NSA. As we speak, we're in court. There was even a court directive that INEC shouldn't conduct that delineation, but they kicked against it. They are sure, they even deposed on affidavits, but we're shocked that they did it anyways. So we're looking at federal government, right now we're looking for federal government's intervention on this, to create a panel of inquiry, a very strong one at that, to investigate the fraud in the process.
Okay, just to give us a real idea of the cost of things staying the way they are. I'm not saying that they will, so that it's really understood, you really drive your point home. How might this controversy affect elements like whether it's voter turnout and electoral participation in upcoming local government elections? Give us a real sense of the cost, besides what you've already painted about your term's extinction, more or less.
I'm not sure any Shekiri man would want to accept any election going forward. Mm-hmm. With this kind of fraud, we cannot accept any election. No election should happen. It's either they do it rightly, go back to the field. But before you go back to the field, ensure that all judgments from 1996 are implemented as well. Because the implementation of all judgments in this case has become sacrosanct. The 10-ward structure should be reverted to in Warri South. All courts, all land disputes settled in the court with judgments available to us should all be obeyed. Once that is done, then they can go back to the field to do this exercise again and do it accurately. They should follow their own guideline that they have disregarded earlier.
Okay, if I may, okay, let's just do some backtracking for a moment. You mentioned the delineation process is supposed to take place every 10 years. It happened in 8 years. They gave you this guideline and it was not adhered to. Where do you think that this, if you could guess where this is coming from, who is behind this? What would you trace this to?
You know, I was trying not to. I've gone through a series of interviews like this. I was trying not to recap all of that, but to go straight to what we actually expect of the government right now.
Whatever you're comfortable with.
But as it were, I'm going to mention it. There was conflict of interest. The head commissioner that oversaw this whole process is an Ijaw woman, Professor Rhoda Gomez. She's a member of the Ijaw trust, you know. She was the one, of course, that has brought this upon INEC.
And you have proof of that?
Yes. I just said she's an Ijaw woman.
Mm-hmm. How do you know that she's behind this?
That is the conflict of interest. She has succeeded in perpetrating the biddings of her people. I watched one of your guests here, an honorable man, that said they had a negotiation with the Ijaws. So the entire stakeholders in Warri, both the settlers and the owners of Warri, the Shekiri people, should come out and have negotiations and let's come on a negotiating table. Which, of course, we the Shekiris, we are disagreeing on that. This is likely to what's happened in the Bible when King Solomon called the two women, one with dead child and the other one with a living child. And the one with the dead child said the living child should be torn apart. We are not ready for that. We're not going to negotiate anything.
My question to you now is...
that woman, yes, I just mentioned to you that there was conflict of interest.
Yes, but let's, if you were asked to present facts, like you have receipts, you gave us receipts yes. when it came to the INEC not adhering to its guidelines. So what facts would you present?
Also, there are evidences.
Besides conflict of interest, what facts can you present to say this is where this is coming from? Are you playing a guessing game?
I am. If you can say guessing, but psychologically, there is no way, even if she wasn't paid, that she would not have done this, being an Ijaw woman, who over time, amongst the Ijaws, have been saying that they want to have equal rights with the Ishekiris. And because we have been very, very lenient, if you come to Delta at the moment, you see that we have sharing formulas already, just to make sure that there's peace and there's oneness amongst us. Just that this is one thing gone too far for us.
Well, we can't really speak to her character or to her motivations, but
we have been making this.
Sure.
But why hasn't she come to say anything?
Sure. I guess we're just trying to figure out.
Since April 4th. As a matter of fact, we seek my community, where the name of my community is being corrupted to an Ijaw name, on the draft. We are planning to take her to court.
Well, that's what I was going to get to. Since you know the individuals and you've identified, maybe it's time for more of a mano-a-mano situation instead of just general discussion. Maybe that could get more direct results and answers as well, as it seems this situation is quite tenuous. And we definitely don't want a situation where these three ethnic groups are having to decide whether to split the baby down the middle. Let's hope we can avoid any kind of biblical situations like that. But we do thank you for coming to explain this situation to us and for having this discussion with us, Honorable Emiko Etuwewe, the former Speaker of the Legislative Arm of Warri Southwest Local Government. We wish you all the best with your plight.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.